Welcome to Canada's podcast.
Hello, this is Robert Smigel coming to today with Canada's podcast, where we talk to entrepreneurs who are making it happen here in British Columbia, Canada. Ahmed Arbabi is a tech innovator in the fintech and payment space with over 18 years of experience building and expanding numerous disruptive ventures. In 2016, Ahmed recognized significant gaps in how B2B payments were processed and started VoPay to drive innovation and digital transformation. Ahmed founded VoPay under the principles that financial services should be easy, affordable, and accessible to all, and continues to lead under those principles. Ahmed, welcome to Canada's podcast. Thanks for taking the time today to be here for all our listeners.
That's great. Thanks for having me.
I hope I got your name right.
Yes, perfectly fine.
Awesome. Okay, well, I've done a little bit of an intro. Thanks for coming on the show today, and just tell us a little bit more about yourself and give us the details on the current business. Are you born and raised in Vancouver? Did you immigrate to Canada? How does that look?
Yeah, I'm Iranian, and I migrated to Canada in 2006. And prior to moving to Canada, I moved to UAE, and the city was Dubai, which is known around the world. And I went to school there and started my first venture in Dubai, and decided to move to Canada to continue my entrepreneurial journey.
Great. You picked a beautiful city. Did you kind of spec out Canada, or you just figured Vancouver's the place to go, or was it just by chance?
Yeah. No, I always look forward to come to North America, but I decided to come to Canada and maybe specifically picked Vancouver because it's on the West Coast and closer to Bay Area, which is California, in terms of the tech hub of the world. So that's why I decided to come to Vancouver.
Okay, so you're into finance. So there must be some money involved to get your business going. Did you need financing to start your company? And how do you currently make money in your business now? How do they get dollars?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have bootstrapped since we started, but we are definitely looking into raising capital throughout this year as we are growing and expanding significantly, and we are going to the US market. But how we make money is our customers have a subscription base, and they pay us a monthly subscription fee, and they are able to process certain number of transactions and payments. And then there is also a licensing component that how they can acquire our technology through that licensing.
So a typical, say, retailer or online e-commerce would integrate this into their payment like a Visa?
The core focus of our platform, or who would value the most, is our other software platforms. What we are focused is the area that is called embedded payments or embedded finance, which means there's another platform offering a service to their customers, which could be businesses, and there's a payment relevancy. I use property management as an example. Property management softwares help property owners to manage their rents and properties, but there is also a rent component where they use our technology to offer rent management to their tenants and landlords that are utilizing that software.
Okay, interesting. I want you to give me a key piece of knowledge or information about your industry that our listeners can learn from. So is there anything that the general public may not know about your industry that you could enlighten us with?
Yeah, I personally found payment industry fascinating. It looks very simple from outside, but when you get involved, there are so many layers and areas within this industry. There is so much complexity around compliance, regulatory, and fraud, and other components. But what excites me is that many of the services that we touch on daily basis have a component of payments, and it's so streamlined to the point that we don't even realize, or we don't have that friction that we had before. I can use Uber that how you use right now. You get in the car, get out of the car without even having any friction when it comes to the payments. The fees are already taken from your card. DoorDash, when you're ordering food, while you had to go through that process of pulling out your credit card from your wallet, making the payment. So this is how things are growing in the payment space and contributing to digital transformation globally and helping economies to grow faster.
Okay, good. Now, you did mention the US. What is the long-term vision? What will your company look like in the future? Do you see the company expanding into other areas, and where beyond Vancouver, BC, or even Canada?
Definitely, yes. Our vision is to become a global service provider, starting in North America, and from there, our plan is to expand into South America, Caribbean, and start moving toward the east, which is European markets.
Good. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about why you're doing business in Vancouver. What are the biggest benefits for you being an entrepreneur in Vancouver? I want you to give some of the good points about starting a company here, but I also want you to give some of the tough things or challenges you've had so our listeners can keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, that's a great question. There are, I would say, in terms of advantages of starting a business in Vancouver, it really depends on the industries or the verticals you're working on. But what I found, Vancouver is actually a great launch pad that you can have a lean start and validate what you have built, start expanding it to other territories, and that gives you the foundation to even further go to the US market. So you can start testing your product with a smaller population and then grow to other regions and other markets. On the talent side, it has been changing over the last few years, but I found it a great source of talent that are available in the Vancouver markets.
Okay. Now, 18 years, you've been through a lot of ups and downs. I can imagine you've been through a lot of struggles and so forth. But I want you to imagine you were starting all over again and you just moved here to Vancouver, BC. You've gained a lot of knowledge, but this time you've landed, you don't know anyone. Knowing what you know now, what would you do and how would you go at starting all over again as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, definitely. I think for everyone who immigrant, either you're doing a business or you're coming to a new city, the most important component is networking. Network as much as you can, day and night, to meet people from different industries and learn, hear their stories, how they have started. And Canada and Vancouver, we have large population of immigrants that have been through the same experience. So they can give you the best knowledge and they can help you to uh, accelerate in your journey and educate yourself. Just keep learning about the domain and don't try to guess or think that you have the right answer. Try to educate yourself around the subject or the domain that you're uh, thinking to have a business, or you have identified a problem and you think you are going to be the solution to that problem. Try to educate yourself as much as you can.
Let's talk a bit about your morning routine. Entrepreneurs tend to have a positive way to start their day, to kind of own the day. What does the first hour look like for you when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a specific routine or a ritual that helps you get motivated to start your day?
Yeah. I'm an early riser, but at the same time, I try to have a slower start, but focused on the tasks that are the most important. And starting early gives you the option to operate on your own and knowing no other interruptions around you. So I use the first hours of the day, which is from 6 a.m., to focus on the task that I need to dedicate more attention and I require focus. So that's my daily routine.
Good. Okay. Earlier, you touched on educating yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about the books you read, audiobooks? How do you educate yourself? and keep
Yeah.
on top of. I mean, finance, payment processing is a difficult, complicated business. So I imagine you must read outside of that domain too.
Yeah. I am actually a big fan of reading and educating myself around different domains. And I really believe the way that you need food to support your body, you need knowledge to support your brain. It's a food for your brain. And reading books is the best way to do that. So I read from various domains and subjects based on the necessity or different times of my business. I also do a lot of courses, and I suggest everyone to do that. I find the programs that suit me and help me to improve my skill sets in that specific area. But there are lots of books, and it depends where individuals are in their life cycle of their life, for their business. But for startup founders, one book that I recommend, which I find it very interesting, is called Zero to One, and it's from Peter Thiel, who was a former founder of he was a founder of PayPal and a few other successful ventures in San Francisco. But the other books that I really like, one would be, it's just on the negotiation skills, called Never Split the Difference. I don't remember the name of the author, but that gives you a great uh, understanding of how to negotiate and how to position yourself when you are negotiating, which we do that on daily basis. And everything we do in our life has some aspects of negotiation.
Okay. If you weren't doing what you do now, what would you like to do for a profession? You weren't in VoPay. What would you like to do outside of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I don't want to change anything. I enjoy what I do. I wake up excited and I work for hours and hours nonstop throughout the day. I really don't think I want to change. If I had the opportunity, I would do exactly what I'm doing right now. Maybe I would start a few years earlier. But this is my passion right now.
Okay. In business, what is your favorite word, quote, or sentence that you like to use? Is there anything you use regularly?
Yeah, I there is a term I use that I it's just relevant to some areas, but I say trust but verify,
Trust
and
what?
it's really but verify.
But verify. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So that's a code I always use, and that has been that is my approach. That you have to trust, but you need to continuously do your checkpoints to make sure
Yeah.
things are the way that they're supposed to be.
What's your least favorite word or quote that you do not like to hear?
I cannot.
I cannot do that. We're going to find a way.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to pick one or two words to describe yourself, what would it be and why? What makes you an entrepreneur? Like, what are the things, the characteristics you think, if you were to lay it down and say, okay, here's what I think makes me who I am?
Yeah, I am honest with myself. That's what I think is very important in terms of being entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs tend to be optimistic and believe that whatever they are doing is gonna land on them. But I'm always being honest to myself and make sure that I keep myself uh, in line to make sure that I don't make kind of uh, mistakes by becoming too optimistic. That's
Okay.
really my main important.
Yeah. So you're well aware of your strengths and your weaknesses?
Yes,
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Okay. Oh, is there anything keeping you up at night? Is there anything you take your work home with you, or you're thinking about things, or are you able to shut it off?
Unfortunately, not. The brain engine works 24/7. And I sleep. I don't sleep too long. I prefer to sleep like 5 to 6 hours a day, and that's the maximum amount of sleep I get. But being an entrepreneur, you have to continuously think about how I can move forward, how I can differentiate in the market, how I can compete, and there are always whys and hows that are in your thought process that you have to find the right answers for them. So that's what's really happening
Right.
in
Now,
my life every day, every second.
you're from Iran, correct? Is there anything that growing up in Iran that you have brought over, the way you think, the way you work, the way you conduct yourself, your disciplines? Is there anything that has helped you from your youth, parents, background
Yeah,
that you carry with you
definitely.
today?
So yeah, the living in Iran was definitely helpful to build my character, because things are different over there. The way we refer to that as being street smart, because there are things that you learn that are not written in any book, and they are not academical. So it's really first-hand experience that will teach you the way of life, how to socialize, how to avoid things, how to evaluate risk. So that's what I think the biggest value I have learned, I have brought from my youth and my times that I lived in Iran, which is being street smart.
Okay. Do you have any advice that you may have received from a mentor or other entrepreneur that you can pass on to entrepreneurs throughout Canada?
Well, I'm trying to think of one specific one right now, uh, but I think what I have learned in my journey, that I have so many mentors. I look at my books as my mentors, but one thing I have always tried to is my philosophy is being successful is not by the number of right decisions you make. It's really the number of wrong decisions you do not make. So as long as you can assess the decisions uh, and spend enough time on every move you make, if you can reduce the errors, your chance of success is way higher.
Yes. So, I mean, it's kind of like that goes with the experience, right? You have to sometimes go through those mistakes, learn from
Yes.
it, and then carry it through and sense when it's coming back again and know how to
But we should try not to repeat them.
yeah, how to stick a handle out through there. Okay. Um, I imagine you're a very busy person. Vancouver's a very beautiful city. It's a lifestyle city. That's why people go there. Um, what do you do? How do you when you get out of the office, where would you go to think about your business? Is there a place you go
Yeah,
for and kind of collect your thoughts and clear your mind?
definitely. Yeah, I really enjoy walking, so and I try to dedicate 20 to 30 minutes every day. And I usually go on the sea walk and sit somewhere quiet and try to download and process the things that are happening and the things that are coming up throughout the rest of the day. So I try to find 20 minutes every day, middle of the day, to walk on the sea walk, rain or shine. It doesn't matter, but that gives me the opportunity to really uh, uh, think through the things and the decisions that I have to make.
Good. Okay. We're going to wrap things up here. Amit, how can our listeners get hold of you? And is there anything you'd like to add before you leave us today?
Yeah, I am always available on LinkedIn and Twitter. Those are the best way to reach me, and there is my email address that I can share. And I think for whoever want to start a business, make sure this is something you are passionate about. It's not just something that you want to do because you think it's a good idea or it's a cool idea. Make sure you have passion and don't give up if things go wrong, because if you keep pushing forward, the right opportunity will come in front of you.
Yeah, I think when you're passionate about it, you'll enjoy the process a little bit more because there it is a roller coaster ride, and you definitely have to stick to it on the peaks and valleys. So, good advice there. Okay, Ahmed, thanks for coming on the show. I've learned a lot about you, and I'm sure our listeners have as well. Great.
Thank you for having me.